no limitation on funds to stay there as far as anybody's concerned forever. So the vote was going on, and it was like 430 to 3. And I thought, well, see, tripled our vote. But I was wrong. It didn't work. People started looking at it, and probably people running over and saying, do you know what you're doing? You know, so then it was 430 to 2. Then all of a sudden, you know, you can remove, you change your vote at the last minute. Then it turned out 432 to 1. And I was sitting with close friends who understand a little bit about this, but they also understand from their viewpoint, this is too risky for them to deal with, you know, standing on principle on this. And they looked over and they said, Ron, it looks like you're all by yourself again. And I said, let's just soon have that, because my message is that there's, you know, it's me against the state. And, so it's a terrible way to get symbolism, but in a way, that's the way we all are when you think about the numbers. But the difference is we're dealing with ideas, and we don't have to deal with 51% of the population. Most people are followers. Congress eventually will follow when we become the dominant philosophy of the country, and everybody is desperately looking for some answers for the crisis and the problems that have been created by the illusion of Keynesian and socialist economics. And they're looking more carefully all the time. The other delight about coming into politics from our viewpoint is that, you know, typically if you're a conventional conservative Republican, you know, you get a lot of interviews on Fox News Network, you know. But if you come at it from a free market viewpoint and an Austrian viewpoint, all of a sudden, you know, occasionally on some of the liberal stations, there'll be good civil libertarians and they'll understand foreign policy. And instead of, since the campaign was over, instead of being excluded from Fox, I was excluded, of course, during the campaign and given a lot of grief. But now, I think it's been over 50 times since I've been interviewed on Fox on economic issues since the campaign. But the more liberal stations, some of them wouldn't dare want to talk to me because their agenda is Democratic Party politics, and they're not for liberty, they're just for Democratic Party politics and big government. But even on those stations, you will have a few on there that are very honest people. Now, the one individual that I never had heard of, and that shows my shortcomings, before the campaign I'd heard of him but never watched the program, and that was Jon Stewart. But that guy is pretty fascinating. I've come to respect him. I see he's most likely comes from the left, but he's an honest person. And when the left really messes up, he loves to go and get them. And those are the kind of people, and therefore it is not unusual to see somebody like a Jon Stewart befriend us, all of us through me, by, I don't know, I've been on a show, I know at least twice, maybe 3 times. So those kind of shows we get onto, they're considered liberal shows. But the delightful message here is that we do approach all spectrums, and that means this can be a true movement, a true revolutionary change, and we should be very optimistic about what we see so far. Thinking of it now. The question of the Tea Parties come up. I believe it was during the campaign, the presidential campaign, that somebody during the campaign, it wasn't always our astute central organization occurred. I mean, we ran a campaign because there was an excitement out there, and there was a lot of spontaneity to it, and there was a lot of spontaneous fundraising efforts, and the use of the Tea Party in modern days, I believe, really started at that particular time. The Subsequently, though, since then, there's been a lot of Tea Party movements, a lot of Tea Parties, and now it's pretty hard to identify exactly who they are and what they are and exactly what's going on. But I think it's a good sign, because they're anti-Washington and they're anti-Republican establishment and anti-Democrat establishment, and I believe that's good. But those of us who deal only in academic education and also in trying to change ideas, that's a little bit different than dealing with Tea Party movements. But those who are more involved in politics, I think they're rather significant. But all I got to say about it is that you just can't reject them all or endorse them all, because they are very diverse. And I believe what has happened was there a lot of people who spontaneously came together, not fully aware of exactly what they believed in. They had the energy and the disapproval of what was happening, and they came together. But then all of a sudden, when the conventional politician realized, hey, there's a few people disgruntled out there. Hey, that must be a new movement. I better get into that movement and get in front of the line so I can be a leader of that movement. And that's essentially what has happened. They're jumping in and they claiming. And there's pretty strong evidence that many of the Tea Party meetings are infiltrated by the neoconservative element and not an anti-war sound money group of people. But nevertheless, our job really is spreading ideas, and those ideas being so pervasive that they will influence not only the parties but the Tea Party people as well. But it is certainly encouraging that there is this much excitement. You know, the other day I was talking over in Atlanta, and I had just been reading and doing some research on a subject dealing with intelligence gathering. You know, that thing that the CIA does every once in a while. And I made the statement, which I don't back away from, but it came out after me expressing my concern about, you know, the secret government and how much control they have.
See, I don't know if this is bandito or if it's amigo. Okay? Okay. No say.
And I had just read recently that, you know, when the Soviet system collapsed, guess who really got in charge? The KGB. The KGB took over, ran things, and right now, 70% of anybody that has an important position in Russia today were KGB members.
This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by NewHampshireFreePress.com, the libertarian paper cranking out great news and opinion since early 2006. NewHampshireFreePress.com.
Gratuitas public domain parties.